I wanted to break down the current state of the Toronto Raptors roster because, as I was saying, I thought that I was going to be here today talking about how the Raptors have basically finalized their training camp / preseason roster. But in fact, they've made another change here that I do want to kind of go over. And specifically, I want to discuss the potentials and possibilities of the now open roster spot on the team. We are back at it again on Amateur Hour Clips, where we continue to provide you with Toronto Raptors news coverage and analysis. But over on this channel, we take the best highlights and segments from the main channel, Amateur Hour Sports, where we do live streams covering the Raptors even further and put them on this channel to make it a whole lot easier for you to consume the content. If you like what you see from this video today, make sure you are subscribed to the channel because we're always dropping content over here that you're not going to want to miss out on, especially if you are a Toronto Raptors fan. And also along the way, it really does support the channel if you smash that like button. Now, let's get back to the video. Going into what the Raptors have here, unfortunately, no fancy graphic for this one. We're just going to be basically be typing in what we have as far as the team is concerned for the upcoming season. So I could probably zoom in a little bit in a second. But for point guards, who I would consider the point guards on the team, you've got Emmanuel Quickley. You've got, I do like this point guard rotation here. You got David Mitchell, and you've got Jamal Shed. You've got your clear starting point guard. You've got a lot of guys on the team who would also consider themselves as ball handlers, like Barnes and maybe a little bit of RJ Barrett. You've got good defensive guys coming off the bench here who can kind of battle for a spot. But, that's the point guard situation, which I'm happy with. Then you have the shooting guards. RJ Barrett is technically a shooting guard. I'm not going to list him here. I mostly consider Grady Dick and Jacoby Walter as the shooting guards for this team. Really only two. RJ Barrett's a starting small forward, so I will list him as a small forward. Ochai Agbaji, for the sake of this depth chart, is also going to be listed as a small forward. And Garrett Temple, for what it's worth. Garrett Temple's still on the roster. Next up, power forwards. Starting power forward for the Raptors will be Scotty Barnes. That is obvious. Ochai Agbaji will be the power forward. I have this written down. I'm just rewriting it here. Bruce Brown is most certainly in the depth here. Take positions, with a grain of salt. Bruce Brown is easily, the starting shooting guard potentially. In fact, Bruce Brown may, he's injured. He actually probably won't be the starting shooting guard now because he has surgery, which we'll talk about a little later on in the stream. But Bruce Brown, backup small forward for me. Agbaji, backup power forward. You throw Chris Boucher into the depth chart here, though I don't think he will play much. And then you have your bigs. Not really centers because they can play more spots like Olynyk, but Pearl is absolutely your center. Kelly Olynyk's coming off the bench. Is going to be getting a lot of power forward minutes too. And you have your Jonathan Mobo. Not sure how much he'll play, but we'll see. Then, not really positions because I don't think they're going to get a lot of NBA minutes. Oh, I forgot. We don't talk about Bruno Fernando in the mix there as a big and much higher chance of making the roster all of a sudden with Koloko not being involved in things. Two ways, probably won't expect much play time. Brandon Carlson is there. Don't think he's getting much NBA time. Ulrich Shamshe is an interesting one, which I will talk about more in just a second here. And you have DJ Carton on two-way. Exhibit 10 deals are being handed out. Currently, there's two Exhibit 10 contracts. Jamison Battle and Jared Rhoden. This stuff is tough to confirm. From the information I have, this is the situation for the roster. And then you have your, I'll steal from Blake Murphy here. He calls them Exhibit Zeros. They're signed on Exhibit 10 contracts and then waived immediately to make room for more potential Exhibit 10 contracts. Dylan Disu, new signing, signed today. Quincy Guerrier, as after much deliberation. Is there an E here? I guess we'll check a second. Quincy Guerrier as well. Official, an Exhibit 10 contract recipient from the Raptors, has been waived immediately. Both of the players have, not official by the Raptors, but there have been concrete reports of them signing in the last day or so and subsequently being waived. Therefore, as Exhibit 10 players, if anybody does not know an Exhibit 10 contract is, it's in a higher incentivized amount of money for you to sign for the G League affiliate. So You sign for the NBA team on an Exhibit 10 contract. If you are waived, and this is almost a guarantee you are going to be waived, you sign for that NBA's team respective G League affiliate, you receive a bonus of pay for signing for that G League team that you would not receive for signing for another G League team. So it's a cash incentive to sign for a G League. You pay somebody a bit extra to play for your G League team. And hey, perhaps the likes of Jamison Battle and Jared Roden will be signing Exhibit 10 deals to compete in camp as well and get some good time there. So as it stands, the Raptors have signed 20 players. They're allowed 21 players for training camp. Roster spot has become available to them. What does that roster spot look like? Who are they going to be going for here? I mean, if you go around the current state of NBA free agents, you're not really sniffing anybody of particular note here. I'm going to find the guys who are available. It's not going to be a pretty list. Evan Fournier is playing abroad. Gordon Hayward, I believe he retired. Wow, there's actually some decent. You know what? There's some decent names here. Kyra Lewis actually has signed Exhibit 10 with the Wizards. Shout out Raptors legend Kyra Lewis. Not a lot, you really want. These are not guys a rebuilding team would necessarily sign. Nor do the Raptors really have the space to sign a guy like Markelle Fultz, who's an interesting one who I can't believe is still a free agent, actually. But, yeah, nobody really that interesting here. Yuta Watanabe. But what's likely going to happen here is that the Raptors just go for another Exhibit 10 guy and just look for another interesting young player to add into the mix. These players can be interesting. Like Jimmy in chat saying you've got Jamison Battle who can shoot. Absolutely, he can shoot. That's an interesting one. And even like the new guys, you talk about Dylan Disu, Quincy Guerrier. These are certainly players who can help with the 905 and help with the development. Dylan Disu, 5-year college player, signed as a rookie, undrafted free agent last season, playing with Texas, 15.5 points per game, 45% shooting from 3, playing as an undersized center. Definitely can play as a power forward. Good screener, good guy who can pop it from 3. Absolutely somebody that the Raptors would use in the G League. Quincy Guerrier, 45% from 3. 5 out of 7 in the chat. Astonishing for a big. Quincy Guerrier last year, playing 5 years of college ball. Last year with Illinois after 2 years with Oregon and 2 years with Syracuse. Just under 10 points per game, 48% shooting from the field, 37.5% shooting from 3, which would be more impressive if I didn't just see Disu shooting 45%. But yeah, Guerrier, nice Canadian player to add to the mix, to add into the G League mix. That's cool to see. I think these will be valued players for the Raptors 905. Not necessarily because, these are respectfully, older guys, 5-year college players, but definitely guys that the Raptors are looking to supplement the 905 with as they put a bit more of a focus on development. They've kind of gone away from that the last couple of years. A bit more of a focus goes towards development. And I think that this is especially going to be big for a guy like Ulrich Shamshay. So I've been on this channel. I've been on multiple channels that I have here talking about my discontent surrounding Christian Coloco's departure for nothing. And a big reason why, not just because he's a young player who's good and I think scales up nicely in the NBA, because the Raptors really need that sort of position. You go through this entire list of player here, and a lot that they're missing is rim protection. They've got it here. They've got it here a little bit with Fernando, maybe to a bit of a lesser degree, but my thought process was that Bruno Fernando was the cover in case Coloco didn't sign with us. And here we are. Coloco didn't sign with us. Bruno Fernando is probably the 15th man on the roster. You're allowed 15 players in your roster, plus the 3 two-way contract, which make it 18. And of the 21 I said you need on your training camp roster, 3 of them get cut. I imagine they'll just cut 3 of the Exhibit 10 guys if they sign a third one, but these 2 guys are going to get cut. Unless they really, really impress in preseason, which, again, a bit unlikely. Coloco not signing was big for Fernando because I think now he does have a clear path to making the roster. But I think it's also big for Ulrich Shamshay because I think we're lacking that rim protection. And the fact that the Rabs are willing to use a two-way contract on a 57th overall pick does really showcase that there's confidence in him as a player, perhaps a bigger one here. So having the likes of Dylan Dissou, Quincy Guerrier, who are going to be doing the dirty work for a lot of the guys in the G League, it makes me think they really want to focus on prioritizing the development in there for the likes of Ulrich Shamshay. So what this roster really means from like the back end of things here is I think that Ulrich Shamshay, there's belief here. The Raptors traded back into the draft, traded relatively little to get him. They like him. And other than that, we're not signing. We have an open roster spot. We're not signing a vet player here. We're really prioritizing the guys that we have here to work on them and develop them for the future. That is the current state of the Raptors roster. Recording this list in a week away from Media Day. We'll see if somebody else joins the fray in the coming days.